The Five of Swords, defeat. Now, you can see it in the passive sense is to lose, but actually to defeat is actually to overcome someone, as in this tennis player defeated another player, Liverpool defeated Man United, say, or some other thing like this. The Five Swords and arranged in a pentagram, which is sinking down. But also notice just about there on either side we have two swastikas falling apart. This tarot deck was created between Frida Harris and Aleister Crowley in the dark days of the Second World War, when there was no guarantee that the West, England and the Allies would win. So having those the swastikas there is a kind of way of saying we're going to defeat the Nazis. So I think we know whose side Crowley was on in this case. So here's what Crowley says. Geberit, as always, produces disruption, but as Venus here rules Aquarius, weakness rather than excessive strength seems to cause a disaster. The intellect has been enfeebled by sentiment. The defeat is due to pacifism. Treachery may also be implied. Now, one of the things about the Nazi doctrine was that it was always flawed to start with. It was never really going to work. The whole economic system it had in there in place, as a response to the hyperinflation after the First World War and into the Weimar Republic, it was never a system that was really going to work. The seeds of its own destruction were there. So here's Crowley's kind of seeing through the whole Nazi sort of thing that's going on here. And he says, the hilts of the swords form the inverted pentagram, always a symbol of somewhat sinister tendency. Here matters are even worse. None of the hilts resemble any of the others, and their blades are crooked or broken. So there's not even an agreement about what the problem is, let alone how to sort it out. Okay, so if you can't agree with what's going on, how can you fix things? They give the impression of drooping. Only the lowest of the swords points upwards, and this is the least effective of the weapons, because the whole idea that the Ace of Swords is a sword held up, phallic as well too, but you know. The rose of the previous card has been altogether disintegrated. So now he then kind of, Crowley goes on a little bit of a journey. About the Aeon of Hot Osiris and all these other things. It's kind of sort of giving historical parallels of about the way civilizations and cults and all these sort of things eventually get destroyed by the own weight of their inabilities or incapabilities, or just inability to reinvent themselves, basically. So let's move on to the Six of Swords, which is silence.